quick thoughts on the $80 million Fever facility and Stephanie White being like, we're going to be aggressive in free agency, and massive names who are available. And I think, this is my bold prediction, the Indiana Fever are going to be playing for the WNBA title next year. Wow. They have their cornerstone pieces under rookie contracts, and you have the DeWanna Bonners and the Leah Edwards of the league. As for Kelsey Plum, free agents.
WNBA free agency has officially begun, and the Indiana Fever aren't pulling back any punches. The league's hottest team are cooking up something special, and it's got the whole league buzzing. From a brand new $78 million facility to a roster that's about to explode with talent, this isn't your average off-season.
There are big-name veteran pieces that the Fever have money to go get to put them in position to be playing for a WNBA title. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw Aaliyah Boston talking about the facilities upgrade, which is going to be great because that's really how you compete right now in the women's space. It's why women don't want to go to Chicago as free agents, right? Despite, like, Angel Reese is going to get more interest there, but the reputation of the ownership and the facilities aren't great.
And here's the reality. Free agents are lining up to join forces with Caitlin Clark and company. We're talking all-stars, defensive anchors, and offensive juggernauts who see Indiana as the next big thing. Want to know who's on the Fever's radar? We're about to spill the tea on 15 top free agents who are itching to be part of this hoops renaissance. And stick around because we have a special number 16 and 17 at the end. Two dominant veterans that could change the game for the Fever and the league forever.
We felt this way to begin with, that the Fever were going to be a destination because you have Caitlin Clark, you have Aaliyah Boston, and you have a really, really young team. And I think now with Steph White, who is hands down one of the best coaches in the league, and we saw that with Connecticut even though they fell a little bit short, I think that, you know, this is going to be big. And
picture this. The Indiana Fever, fresh off their best season in years, are gearing up for something big. But what's their secret weapon? It's not any fancy new strategy. No, the Fever are on a mission to build a dynasty, and they're pulling out all the stops. Here's where it gets interesting. The Fever aren't just looking to add a player or two. They've got a 4-point plan that's about to shake up the WNBA. With more than $650,000 in cap space, the Fever are looking to shake up the league. First up, re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. She's been lighting up the scoreboard, averaging 19.2 points per game and being the perfect backcourt partner for their generational talent in Caitlin Clark. The Fever are ready to pull out all the stops to keep her and have recently offered her a Supermax deal via the core designation.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position. And I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
But that's not all. The Fever know they need more firepower. They're on the hunt for versatile wings who can score and defend, giving Caitlin and Kelsey some serious backup. And let's talk about the forward position. The Fever are looking for some enforcers, players who can mix it up in the paint and bring some much-needed defensive grit alongside Aaliyah Boston.
I see a lot of players wanting to go, in this offseason, a lot of players are going to want to go to the Fever.
Last but not least, they're searching for a backup guard who can run the offense when Caitlin or Kelsey need a breather. It's all part of a master plan to build a team that can go the distance. President Kelly Krauskopf didn't mince words when she said, if you're a smart player, you'd want to play with her, alluding to Caitlin Clark's ability to bring out the best in her teammates. And here's the reality. It's not just about signing players. It's about creating a culture that attracts top talent. Let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell, the Fever's homegrown scoring machine. She's at a crossroads, and her decision could change everything. But here's the thing. It's not just about basketball. It's about legacy.
Getting the recognition that you deserve, but maybe weren't necessarily getting before.
No, that's a great question. I think that I think the reality of it is that I don't think people want to know what else he scored, so shout out to Caitlin. That's just reality. I think she's done an unbelievable job of bringing, you know, obviously her own fans and people that support her. But, you know, for me, I kind of laugh at it and I embrace it at the same time because I've always kind of flew under the radar. I've always kind of been that person or that player, very conservative, very introvert. So now I get to see the flip side of it. It's kind of funny. I can laugh about it because I know it's come from a genuine place, but I embrace it from a standpoint of like people not, you know, guaranteed to see me play, and now that they do, I just hope I do right by it, you know.
Mitchell's been with Indiana through thick and thin, and now she's got a chance to be part of something special. Picture this. After the Olympic break, she went on an absolute tear, dropping 20-plus points in 7 straight games. That's the kind of firepower that can turn a good team into a great one. But here's where it gets interesting. Mitchell's not just a scorer, she's the heart and soul of this team. Her chemistry with Caitlin Clark? Off the charts. They're both putting up 19.2 points per game, lighting up scoreboards left and right. And Mitchell's only getting better. Her field goal percentage hit a career-high 46.8% last season. Talk about efficiency.
A lot of people don't understand that either about Caitlin. You don't know where those passes are going.
No,
Yo,
it's going to go to where she thinks you're going to score from. She's like a football.
Quarterback.
She's passing you into her route.
Peyton Manning. Indianapolis' finest.
Now, Mitchell's been open about exploring free agency, but don't panic just yet, Fever fans. She's also said, obviously I've always had a home in Indy, so it could potentially be a home for me again. Are you ready for this? Sources close to the team say Mitchell's leaning towards staying. Why? She sees the bright future ahead. Now let's talk about those versatile wings, shall we? Hold on to your seats, Fever fans, because things are about to get even more exciting. There's a free agent out there who could take this team from promising to unstoppable. Her name? Satou Sabally. And get this, she's already been singing Caitlin Clark's praises.
Caitlin is an amazing generational talent, and she's going to do amazing things. Caitlin is the face right now, and that's also good. She's selling out gyms. Why would you hate against that? We had a sold-out home opener. I think it was a practice game, like it wasn't even serious. We benefited from that because now we have all our fans there, and they're excited, and you have new people coming into the market. She is her own economy, and that is amazing.
Picture this, a 6'4" powerhouse who can score, defend, and make plays like nobody's business. That's Sabally in a nutshell. Last season, she lit up the scoreboard with a jaw-dropping 17.9 points per game. But that's not all. She also grabbed 6.4 rebounds and dished out 5 assists. Talk about a triple threat. But wait, there's more. She's not just an offensive powerhouse. She's got eyes like a hawk for those passing lanes and can stick to her opponent like glue. The Fever's defense? Consider it leveled up.
Tonight, Williams slips the pass.
A little bit of juice, a little bit of energy right there. Thank you for that, Satou.
Now, here's the million-dollar question. Can the Fever actually land her? All signs point to a definitive yes, given that Satou has already told Dallas that she wants out. From Paris with a silver to Indiana with golden ambitions. Gabby Williams is back, and she's not just bringing Olympic glory. She's got something to prove. Are you ready for a comeback story that could change everything for the Fever?
Gabby Williams with the pick. Oh, in the back control. Hello! Showtime on a Wednesday night in Seatown.
Williams isn't just any free agent. She's a player who's tasted success on the international stage, leading France to Olympic silver in Paris. Let's talk numbers. During her last WNBA stint with the Seattle Storm, Williams put up 10.3 points, 4.0 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game. Not too shabby, right? But wait, there's more. She closed out the season strong, hitting double digits in 4 of her last 5 games. That's the kind of consistency the Fever are looking for. Picture this. Williams, with her ability to defend multiple positions, teaming up with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. It's a combination that could give opposing coaches nightmares. And get this, Williams herself is hungry for another shot.
Building quality depth is going to be important. You know, when you have a core 3 like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well.
Speaking of players with something to prove, there's another name that's got WNBA insiders buzzing. She's been called Hollywood, but her next act might be the comeback story of the year. Are you ready for the Kennedy Carter show? Let's talk about explosive scoring ability. Carter's got it in spades. We're talking about a guard who lights up the scoreboard, averaging 17.5 points last season in the WNBA, and almost 30 points this offseason in China. That's the kind of firepower that could take the Fever's offense to a whole new level. But here's where it gets interesting. Carter's talent comes with a side of drama. Remember this?
Kennedy, on the play before bumping in with Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit after the Fever
I
score.
answered no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
But picture this, Carter, with her quickness and scoring versatility, teaming up with Caitlin Clark. It's a backcourt duo that could give opposing coaches nightmares. Now, Carter's made it clear she's looking for a fresh start. Could Indiana be that place? With their new leadership and a culture that's all about empowering players, the Fever might just be the perfect stage for Carter's redemption arc. Let's shift gears and talk about a player who might not be on everyone's radar, but could be the secret ingredient the Fever need. Ever wonder what happens when you combine relentless hustle, an uncanny nose for the ball, and the stamina of a marathon runner? Enter Monique Billings, the human spark plug who could electrify Indiana's second unit.
It's a nice job of putting the ball on the deck, getting Juhas to bite. Nice spin move back to the left for easy. 1-1-2 easy.
Billings made waves with the Dallas Wings in 2024, averaging 7.4 points per game over 24 appearances. But her impact goes far beyond the box score. She's a rebounding machine, constantly creating second-chance opportunities and frustrating opponents with her relentless pursuit of the ball. In transition, Billings is a blur, often beating opposing bigs down the court for easy buckets. Pair Billings with Aaliyah Boston, and you've got a rebounding duo that could give opponents nightmares. But Billings isn't just about the boards. She's got the defensive chops to guard multiple positions, giving the Fever the flexibility they need to lock down opponents. Now let's talk about shoring up the forward position because there's some really strong free agents in the mix. All right, let's talk about a game changer who could take the Fever from rebuilding to contenders overnight. Picture this. Nneka Ogwumike, a former MVP and 3-time WNBA champion, suiting up in Indiana blue, red, and gold. Sounds too good to be true, right? She isn't just any free agent. We're talking about a 9-time All-Star who's still dropping over 16 points and grabbing 7 rebounds a game. But that's not all. She's evolved her game, now shooting a jaw-dropping 40% from beyond the arc. Are you kidding me? That's the kind of versatility that gives coaches nightmares and fans dreams of championships.
I thought that they were professional, like as anyone at this level would be. I'm always impressed by the two of them. I think it was also really fun to see them playing together tonight. They had some synergy and the maturity that they have going in, not even just being here at All-Star, but...
Now, let's shift our focus to a player who's itching to make a comeback and could be the missing piece in Indiana's championship puzzle. Remember Brianna Jones, the 2-time All-Star who was tearing up the league before her injury? Well, she's on the market, and the Fever might just be the perfect landing spot for her return to greatness.
In fact, they're talking about Brianna Jones, who is at Connecticut, potentially signing in Indiana, and I think that's going to be huge.
Former coach.
Yeah, former coach, right?
Jones isn't just any player. She's a defensive juggernaut with a rapidly improving offensive game. Before her setback, she was putting up impressive numbers, averaging 14.5 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. But here's what really sets her apart. Her ability to lock down multiple positions on the court. Picture this. Jones teaming up with Aaliyah Boston in the front court. That's not just a duo. That's a defensive fortress that could give opposing coaches nightmares. Jones's rebounding skills and Boston's shot-blocking prowess? That's a combination that could dominate the paint on both ends of the floor. Picture this. A 36-year-old veteran defying Father Time and playing some of the best basketball of her career. That's DeWanna Bonner, and the Indiana Fever are taking notice. But hold on a second. Isn't Bonner too old to fit the Fever's timeline?
What was the reason for putting you on Caitlin? Usually, Dejanay guards her.
Just game planning, trying to come up with a strategy. They beat us last time, so we had to do something different. Yeah, that was about it. There was nothing behind it. They got 2 great guards, so somebody got to step up and play defense, and that's the only way to beat them, so just took on the challenge, and she's a great player. I know next game she's gonna come out firing, so gotta go back, watch some video, and see what we can do. But there was nothing behind it. That's the only way we can win, honestly.
Here's where it gets interesting. Bonner's not just hanging on, she's thriving. Last season, she put up an impressive 16.6 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. That's not just good, it's all-star caliber. But Bonner's impact goes beyond the stat sheet. She's a Swiss Army knife on the court, able to score, make plays, and lock down opponents on defense.
You've been asked to do something today that you haven't done all season. Guard Caitlin Clark. She's 0 for 3 when you're defending her. How have you made your presence felt there? Well, let me knock on some wood real quick. She's a great player. I know she's going to come out second half ready to go, so I got a key in.
Now you might be thinking, sure, she's good, but can she keep it up? Well, Bonner's not showing any signs of slowing down. In fact, her experience could be the secret sauce the Fever need. Imagine her mentoring young stars like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, showing them the ropes and teaching them what it takes to win at the highest level. Are you ready for a scoring explosion? Picture this. A player so dominant, she once led the league in both points and rebounds. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for the Indiana Fever, that dream could become a reality with Tina Charles on their radar.
Yeah, the energy that we're getting, the reception, the eyes that we're getting on us, it's amazing. And it's just because of that new generation that's coming in.
Charles isn't just any free agent. We're talking about one of the greatest scorers in WNBA history, being named MVP as 2012. But Charles isn't just about personal stats. She's hungry for more. In her own words, I want to be in a place where I can help a team win a championship. Despite her storied career, there's one thing missing from her impressive resume, and she might just get that with the Fever. Imagine pairing her with young phenoms like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. That's not just an offense. It's a scoring juggernaut waiting to happen.
Obviously, we know who Caitlin Clark is and what she's been able, her impact in this league and especially this year. So however we can get it, I'll take it for me personally. So just thankful that I'm able to be a part of it and still be here to see so we can sit there.
Charles isn't just a one-dimensional player. She can stretch the floor, creating space for her teammates to operate. With her versatility, the Fever could unleash a high-powered offensive strategy that would give opposing coaches nightmares. Hold up. Before we crown the Fever as offensive juggernauts, there's a 3-time WNBA champion on the market who could bring something even more valuable than buckets. Are you ready to see how defense wins championships? Enter Natasha Howard, the defensive dynamo who could transform Indiana's entire identity on the court. This isn't just about adding another player. It's about bringing in a proven winner with the skills to lock down opponents and change the game.
To the second half for DP. Kalani Brown takes the 15. Oh, Natasha Howard one-hands it!
Last season, Howard put up some impressive numbers, averaging 1.2 blocks and 1.3 steals per game. But those stats only scratch the surface of her true value. It's her ability to disrupt offenses and create turnovers that make her a game changer. Her championship experience and defensive prowess could be the catalyst that turns Indiana from a promising young team into a legitimate title contender. Okay, now how about those guards? Are you ready for this? The Fever might be eyeing a sharpshooter who could turn their backcourt into an absolute nightmare for opponents. We're talking about Kelsey Plum, one of the league's deadliest scorers that recently seems to be on her way out from the Las Vegas Aces.
Oh man, I'm super happy for her. She can have it. I think it's really cool to see her do it in the fashion that she's doing it, bringing attention to the game. And you know, I always just try to make sure when people bring it up to me, I always try to make sure that I don't fail to mention, like, hey, she's a human being too, right? So the record's great, but at the end of the day, she's a human being and a person, and we just gotta make sure that we show her a ton of love outside of her performance, right? So I think that sometimes we get caught up in the media, no offense, but in the media, you know, trying to break these certain records, but at the end of the day, it will come naturally. She's a baller. She'll be great.
Picture this. Plum averaged a blistering 17.8 points per game last season, and a career 40% from three. That's the kind of efficiency that makes defenses lose sleep at night. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Plum has hinted at exploring free agency. Can you imagine a backcourt with Plum, Clark, and Mitchell? That's not just firepower. That's a full-blown offensive arsenal. We're talking about three players who can light it up from anywhere on the court. Let's talk about a comeback story that might just blow your mind. Remember Odyssey Sims? The former All-Star who's been bouncing around the league? Well, she's not done yet. In fact, she might be the secret weapon the Fever need to take their game to the next level.
She's Rookie of the Month, Player of the Month, back-to-back Player of the Week. And she has put forth just a stunning stretch of play.
Picture this. Sims steps onto the court for Dallas and absolutely lights it up, dropping 17.2 points per game during her hardship contract. That's not just good. That's turn heads and drop jaws? Good. But here's where it gets interesting. After joining the Sparks, Sims proved she could still hang with the best, starting 10 games and averaging 10.8 points.
I mean, everybody's been watching Caitlin. She's a great player. She's playing at a very high level, especially with her assists. Like, there's a lot of shots she turned down because she was looking for her teammate. I mean, that just speaks volume of how she is as a player. Don't know her as a person, but she's a great player. What she does, what she's been doing since game one till now. Got nothing but respect for her. She did her thing tonight. Just awesome all around.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but can she still bring it night after night? Well, Sims herself has something to say about that. I want to show that I can still play at a high level and be a valuable asset to a team, she declared. And with career averages of 14.1 points and 4.5 assists, she's got the stats to back up that confidence. And when Clark needs a breather, Sims could step in and keep that offense humming like a well-oiled machine. Just when you thought the Fever's roster couldn't get any more exciting, there's a name that's got everyone buzzing. Kia Nurse. She's a player who can light it up from downtown and lock down opponents. But here's the kicker. Her last season was a bit of a roller coaster. Can the Fever help her reclaim her all-star form? Let's break it down. Last season, Nurse hit a career-high 48% effective field goal percentage. That's efficiency you can't ignore. But it's not just about offense. Nurse is a defensive Swiss Army knife. She can guard multiple positions, which is exactly what the Fever need to boost their defensive rating. Remember, they were struggling on that end last season.
But protecting your space is huge, and especially because there is so much kind of on her shoulders, and I think, you know, she has to handle it in a quick span of time, too. You don't even really get a lot of time to digest that your college career is done, because then you get drafted, then you get thrown into WNBA.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Nurse has made it clear she wants to find a team where she can make a real impact. I want to be in a place where I can help the team win and grow as a player, she said. Sounds like a perfect fit for the Fever's new culture, doesn't it? From one dynamic guard to another, let's talk about a potential reunion that's got Fever fans buzzing. Remember Erica Wheeler? She's back on the market, and her history with Indiana might just make your jaw drop.
All we do is have fun. With Caitlin Clark, who never takes anything serious, like I tell people all the time, she's really a kid at heart.
Wheeler was once the heart and soul of the Fever's backcourt, dazzling fans with her leadership and playmaking abilities. But here's where it gets interesting. Her recent performance hasn't quite lived up to expectations. In fact, Wheeler's production has taken a noticeable dip, leaving some to wonder if she still has what it takes to compete at the highest level. Let's talk numbers. She is one of the highest paid players in the league, and it's just too much for someone that rides the bench. Will she be willing to give up money for more guaranteed years? Or maybe the Fever creates a coaching role for her? Now for the surprise. Picture this. A 6'8" powerhouse who once dropped 53 points in a single game. That's Liz Cambage, and she's been tearing it up in China. But here's where it gets interesting. Cambage has hinted at a WNBA comeback. Are you ready for the shocking stats that could make the Fever take a huge gamble? In her peak season, Cam Bage was an absolute force, averaging 23 points and nearly 10 rebounds per game. She shot a jaw-dropping 51% from the field. But it's not just about the past. Cam Bage is still dominating overseas, proving she's got plenty left in the tank. Now, imagine Cam Bage teaming up with Aaliyah Boston. That's a front-court duo that could give opposing coaches nightmares. Cam Bage's ability to draw defenders and create space would be a perfect complement to the Fever's offensive strategy built around Caitlin Clark. But let's not sugarcoat it. Cam Bage's WNBA exit was messy. Is the potential reward worth the risk? That's the million-dollar question the Fever's front office is wrestling with. Speaking of million-dollar questions, here's one that'll blow your mind. Remember this?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
You know, there's levels to this thing.
Could the greatest of all time be suiting up for the Fever next season? Diana Taurasi's free agency has set the basketball world on fire, and you won't believe the possibilities it's opened up. Picture this, the GOAT herself, with multiple championships and MVP awards under her belt, joining forces with the next face of women's basketball. Taurasi's impact on young players is legendary, and her knowledge of the game could take Caitlin Clark's skills to a whole new level. As the season progressed, Taurasi has really softened on Clark. Here's her hugging Caitlin during one of their last games together. Here's her last press conference showering Caitlin with praises.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You know, what Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And, you know, the one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, you know, throughout, you know, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her, and you know, she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future is super bright, and you know, being a veteran and being in this league for a long, long time, you know, it's pretty cool to see that, and you know, going into the future.
Imagine a veteran Taurasi, known for her scoring and leadership, mentoring a young Clark as her last dance. This will surely break the league. The Fever aren't just building a team; they're crafting a basketball revolution. With these resources, they're positioned to attract top-tier talent and transform their on-court performance. But remember, it's not just about flashy signings. They're looking to build a winning culture. So keep your eyes on Indiana, folks. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge and the potential for some serious star power additions, the Fever are poised to set the WNBA ablaze. The next dynasty might just be taking shape right before our eyes. Are you ready for the Fever to bring the heat? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the